Karen walked into my restaurant, demanding a VIP table. She claimed to know the owner, but I am the owner. I decided to play along and teach her a lesson, leaving her with a $4,000 bill. She and her friends arrived, acting important. Karen loudly told them how amazing the restaurant was and that celebrities might be there. When she reached me, she said, "We need a table for 6. I asked for the name on the reservation. She looked at me and said, "Oh, I didn't make one, but it's fine. The owner is my good friend. He always saves tables for special guests like us." That was a lie. I had never seen this woman before, but instead of calling her out, I decided to see where this would go. I politely told her, "Sorry, we're fully booked. We can't seat anyone without a reservation." Karen wasn't happy. She took out her phone, had one of her friends take a picture of me, and said, "I'll talk to the owner and make sure you're scrubbing toilets by next week." Her friends joined in, mocking me. "Yeah, kiss your minimum wage job goodbye." Karen kept pushing, saying, "Either give us a table, or I'll make your life very difficult. Do you even know who I am?" At that point, I had 3 choices. Tell her I'm the owner and expose her lie. Give her the table and let it go. Teach her a lesson. I picked option 3. I smiled and said, "Of course, ma'am, right this way." I led her to one of the VIP tables we actually save for celebrities. Then I sweetened the deal. "I apologize for the mix-up. You're right, it's easier to just give you the table. The first 3 rounds of drinks are on the house." And so, the setup for my perfect revenge began. I seated them at the VIP table and personally took care of them. As they sat down, I told them, "We need a credit card and ID to keep on file. Don't worry, we'll give them back before you leave." Karen confidently handed me her card and told her friends, "Tonight is on me." I took their orders, gave them the free drinks I had promised, and warned them that the food might take longer because we were so busy, but they didn't care. They just kept ordering more drinks. After 3 rounds, they still hadn't gotten any food and called me over with a rude attitude, demanding an update. I told them I'd check on it but also asked if they wanted more drinks. They ordered 2 more rounds. By the time their appetizers arrived, they were already drunk. They had been drinking on empty stomachs, barely touching their salads. As the night went on, they kept ordering more drinks and expensive dishes. What they didn't realize was that they were sitting at a VIP table, which usually costs thousands just to reserve. I didn't charge them for the table, but after the free drinks, I charged them full price for every fancy cocktail they ordered. Also, since they were at a VIP table, they had special menus with no prices listed, a common thing in luxury restaurants. These menus had high-end items like white truffle dishes, black caviar, and premium oysters. At one point, I wondered if I was going too far. Maybe they didn't know any better? But then, they gave me plenty of reasons to keep going. One of the girls asked me, "Do you ever feel like your life is pointless since all you became was a waiter?" My staff also told me they overheard them planning ways to mess with me, thinking they could come back anytime and always get a table. One of them even said, "He's cute, but I'd never date a waiter like that. He's such a pushover." After hearing things like that all night, I had no regrets. By the end of the night, each girl had spent between $500 and $600. I handed Karen the total bill, $4,423.23, including tax and tip. I have never seen someone sober up so fast. Her smile disappeared. She looked like she was about to cry. She waved me over and asked, "Is this a joke?" I took the bill, pretended to check it, and said, "Oh, my mistake. Let me get you the correct bill." She looked so relieved, thinking she had gotten someone else's bill. She even called me an idiot and turned back to her friends. When I returned with the same bill, she freaked out again. I calmly asked, "Is there something on the bill that you didn't order?" The whole group went silent. They checked every single item, starting with the first 3 rounds of drinks, which were clearly marked as free. Then, they pulled out their phones and did the math over and over again, hoping for a mistake. Karen, now shaking, whispered, "1 second, I need to use the restroom." I worried she might try to run away and leave her friends with the bill. So I casually reminded her, "Don't forget, we have your ID and credit card." 10 minutes later, she returned with fresh makeup. She had obviously been crying. Then she completely lost it, yelling about how bad the food was, how awful the drinks were, and how the whole night was a disaster. And then, she demanded, at the very least, Karen demanded that I cut the bill in half. Then she turned to her friends and said they would help pay, even though she had told them earlier that she was covering everything. Suddenly, she got an idea. She tried to use her so-called friendship with the owner again, hoping it would convince me to lower the bill. I just smiled and said, "No, just no, I can't do that." She pulled out her phone and showed me text messages from someone saved as owner, restaurant name. Right away, I knew what she had done in the bathroom. She had changed a friend's contact name and deleted old messages to fake a conversation. I calmly looked at the messages, clicked on the contact info, and said, "That's not the owner's phone number." Her excuse? "He has multiple phones for business, of course, you don't know all of his numbers." I replied, "Okay, let's call him right now. If he says it's okay to take 50% off, I'll do it." Instead of agreeing, she completely lost it, yelling so loudly that other guests started staring. I had had enough. I leaned in and, in a firm voice, said, "Cut the act. You don't know the owner, you've never been here before, and if you keep screaming, I'll call the police." Her smug attitude disappeared instantly. She tried to defend herself, but I shut her down. "My grandfather founded this restaurant. My family has run it for generations. I've worked here my whole life. I am the owner, and I have never seen you before. You are a complete stranger." Her friend sat there, frozen. Karen, now in tears, looked completely defeated. I continued. "I gave you exactly what you wanted, a VIP table, 3 rounds of free drinks. If you don't pay your bill, I'll call the police and give them your ID." Silence. Finally, she grabbed the receipt and signed it while crying. Her friend scrambled to find whatever cash they had, promising to pay her back. The aftermath. 2 days later, an angry man stormed into the restaurant, demanding to speak to me. One of my bartenders told him he'd have to wait. After 30 minutes, I finally called him and his daughter, Karen, into my office. She kept her head down the whole time. I didn't say much. I just played the security footage from that night. The VIP section had cameras with audio, due to past issues, so everything was crystal clear, the comments, the scam attempt, all of it. When the video ended, the man didn't say a word to me. He turned to his daughter and started yelling at her as they stormed out. I never saw them again. As a small victory, I framed their original bill, minus the $120 oysters, and kept it on my desk as a reminder. A final thought. In the end, I didn't lose much money. The VIP table would have been empty anyway, and the cost of their drinks and food made up for the 3 free rounds. So, do I think I was a jerk? Probably not. But the craziest part of this whole thing wasn't the scam attempt or the money, it was their attitude. The worst comment came from one of Karen's friends. "Do you ever feel like your life is pointless since all you became was a waiter?" At one point, I almost felt bad for them, but that sentence sealed their fate. There's nothing wrong with being a waiter, or any job. I hate when people look down on others just because of what they do for a living. This happens with janitors, too. The idea that some jobs make you less than is disgusting. And the fact that she not only believed it but felt entitled to mock me for it? That was the final straw. What would you have done? I'm glad this story had a satisfying ending, especially since her own dad ended up angrier with her than with me. The only part that weirded me out? Learning that the VIP section records audio. I get why, but if I knew a place was recording my conversations, I'd think twice before eating there. Anyway, I'm happy with how things turned out. But now I'm curious, what would you have done in my shoes? Was I a jerk or not? Let me know in the comments. And if you haven't yet, subscribe and hit the notification bell for more shocking real-life stories. Please leave your comments. We're looking forward to your comments and channel subscriptions. See you in the next video. Thank you for watching till the end.